Yeah, and so I'm unhappy about that. I could say I'm unhappy about some personal goals that I had in life. It has nothing to do with my family. It has nothing to do with employment. But it's like a never-ending story with that goal. I'm unhappy in many ways, but I just again wanted to start this video with Thanksgiving because God has a plan. And like my pastor said, with every disappointment, the stage is being set for a divine appointment. I memorized that. He had that message, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. I have it on my refrigerator to remind me, with every disappointment, the stage is being set for a divine appointment. And I'm thankful for having that message of hope and having that message to remind me about the big picture. And sometimes when I get caught up in some of my personal issues that are really difficult, not just minute stuff like getting a puppy. I'm talking about life, death situations. And sometimes I have to stop and think. God gave his only begotten son. His only begotten son suffered. He suffered. And when he was on that cross, he said, "Why have you forsaken me?" Speaking to God, speaking to the Father. He said that during his painful situation on that cross, that was his own son. So then I'm thinking about my situation. I'm like, well, I haven't been crucified as far as I know. I mean, I've gone through some difficulties and a lot of rejection, and most things I've attempted to do for the better, it's always been a struggle. It's like nothing ever came easy for me. The only thing that came easy for me was being a problem solver, trying to figure out how to get out of, a situation or how to avoid a certain situation. So I guess you could say I'm a good problem solver. I guess you could say I'm a person who can see different sides of the spectrum. But I'm like, last time I checked, I didn't get spit on. I didn't get whipped. I didn't get, so I'm thinking about Jesus and how he was treated. And it was a huge sacrifice. And that tends to help me kind of snap out of some of the woe is me, having my moments, and just realize that it's a bigger picture. There's a reason. And sometimes I just wish I knew. How long am I going to have to deal with blah, blah, blah? How long will I have to go dealing with da, 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 da? That way I can kind of understand, okay, well, I'm going to be in this situation for 12 years, so I might as well just sit back and get comfortable. Or this only going to last a week. I just would like to know how long. Because at the end of the day, God reigns high on the throne. And I know there is a purpose for all of this disappointment. And my goals have been rearranged. And I'm taking different paths, and just knowing that if something great were to come out of this particular situation or that particular situation, I can always say, God led me to that because I went through the fire And I was avoiding trying to go through the fire, but I had to go through it anyway. And voila, I ended up here. I would never have been here if I didn't go through the fire. So I'm actually looking forward to reaching the end of this long drawn out season of rejection. Season of rejection. And I just know there's just going to be something magnificent, something that God, only God will get credit for. It's kind of like the whole Sarah thing. Being so old and barren and being able to have a child, because anybody that knows anything about the human body, that is a miracle that that woman got pregnant. So I would say when God show up and show out again, everybody around me, including myself, would know it was God. It was not me. But it is difficult. But again, if I compare myself to all the pain and suffering Jesus went through, and all those people that went through some kind of trauma that led to me, like my ancestors and some of the ancestors that went through the fire and never actually saw freedom. They died in slavery, or they died in some kind of traumatic situation. And that's why a lot of them, they sung those spiritual hymns about going to the promised land and all that, because their current life was such a struggle. Obviously nothing like what I'm dealing with. I mean, a lot worse. But that was their hope. Once they cross over, once they pass this life, that they'll reach the promised land. And I don't know if I'm going to not see the end of the tunnel while I'm alive and experience joy. But now when I think about it, I think the times in my life where I felt the most joy were when I graduated. And that was specifically education. And as far as this last commencement that I had last year, I didn't feel that joy. So I would just say high school and college. I wouldn't even say my grad school commencement. But I felt joy when I graduated from high school, because that was my way to escape and just, to be on that path of excellence and just to, rise to the occasion and all of that. And then when I graduated from college, I just had like all of this aspiration, how, I was going to be able to live the lifestyle and the life that I thought I was going to have. I was going to be a Claire Huxtable. Do you hear me? That was my TV idol, okay? Claire Huxtable. Her character was my inspiration to go to school, and Different World was my inspiration to go to college, even though I didn't go to a historically black college. But I had a ball. Do you hear me? The first year was tough. And again, it's like whatever is good and I try, it's always a struggle. So my first semester was horrible. But I ended up on a dean's list. I mean, I worked my butt off. There's been plenty nights I didn't sleep, doing anything and everything I had to do to stay up and write them papers and prepare for projects and presentations and you name it. It was a crash course, boot camp, college semester. That's that first semester. It was tough. But like I said, those were the two moments in my life where I felt absolute joy. Yep. Yep. So I'm kind of done with this video, and That's how I'm feeling right now. Again, this video is asking the question, can you be thankful and unhappy simultaneously? I say yes, because that's how I'm feeling right about now. I don't want to complain because God has given me so much and has done so much. And so I don't want to seem ungrateful for what I have and ungrateful for that future blessing. But this is how I currently feel. Just feeling worthless. Just not having, don't feel like I have any value, nothing to give. Not able to take care of my parents the way I want to. And so my parents are getting up in age. And again, one of my goals was to be able to take care of them. Usually children, when they're, middle-aged adults or whatever, they tend to have to kind of watch their parents because their parents are starting to lose their independence. And so I was thinking when I get in my 40s, that's probably when I would need to kind of pay attention and make sure my parents are okay, or, they're taken care of. And it's like, I gotta start all over again. I'm in my early 30s, yes, but I feel like as far as career-wise and, all of that, I gotta start all over. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to financially support parents when they get in that stage where you have to, watch them. My father, I'm sure his paperwork is in order. So when he gets older and he needs assistance, let's say with a nurse or whatever, he has all that covered. He's a veteran, so thank God he has that to back. He has a backup plan, which is, being a veteran, so he can get benefits for that. My mother's different story. This woman lives out of shoebox. Let's just put it that way. No retirement fund, no savings, nothing. Just living from day to day. And, I just wish I had more to give. And, that's how I feel right about now. So I'm unhappy that I'm unable to do that. But there is God. And God is the master of the universe. And God will take care of his children. But it is difficult to know that without having the proper financial paperwork in order and things of that nature, it's just difficult to realize that your only hope is God. And if it's his will for you to, retire and not have nothing and struggle, it's his will. But I'm just praying that at least I could help without my household going to ruins. Because, I have my new family now. Well, I wouldn't say new family. Usually family is kind of characterized as two parents and at least one child. So there's no children yet. So it's just a couple. It's a marriage. So anyway, just me rambling on and on again as usual. But I would like to know what you all think out there. Am I being selfish? Focusing on me? And I know some people's like, sometimes to snap out of it, you need to just help other people that's going through problems. Real people with real problems. And then you could be a blessing to them just by helping them. But again, how can you help someone when you're not in the right place to be encouraging and happy and all of that? Again, I volunteer. I just got off the phone a couple of hours ago giving some good news to some women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer, and the organization that I volunteer for, they help with funding for women. And for instance, they may help pay for their rent. They may help pay for utilities or part of the mortgage, things like that. It depends on what stage of breast cancer the person has been diagnosed. And the later the stage, the more funding is available for them. So I got off the phone a couple of hours ago and gave some good news to some of the women that were waiting to be approved, and how much they were going to get, and et cetera, et cetera. And just very excited that I was able to help just by a simple phone call. Sometimes I virtually volunteer, so I'll call some people up and just let them know, and that's a good feeling. I'm able to help the organization without them paying for my services, to call people up and give them some good news. So anyway, I just want to be a blessing. I want to give back. I want to be able to give back. I want to be able to invest in my own relationship with my husband and our future family, so our children, but also be able to look back and help my parents. And right now is not where I want it to be. So I'm gonna end this video, but again, I'm putting out in the universe that I am thankful for what I have, but I'm also unhappy / disappointed with where my life is right now. But anyway, be blessed, be a blessing to others. Take care. Bye-bye.